Hey friends, welcome back to these weekly videos. I pray that whoever is supposed to be watching this video and hear this message is, and I pray for everyone who's watching this video for your health, for your safety, for your protection, and for favor. Okay, so for this video for today, I wanted to talk to you guys about comforting other people. I'm just going to share with you guys some ways that are not so helpful in comforting other people, ways that are helpful, and then just in general, like I guess helping people open up a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the way that our society or our culture generally, at least in North America, deals with grief and sadness and emotions. And this is something that I was learning as I was becoming certified as a life coach, or at least it like really confirmed it for me, is just the way that we mask things and we stuff our emotions down. So for an example, when someone comes to us with a problem, a lot of the things that we might say could be like, don't think about it. You just need to get your mind off of it. You need to go on a vacation. You were too good for him anyways. Don't worry, you're going to be married to someone better one day. And I'm not saying that it's horrible to say those things to someone. I think it's just that the point is we need to allow people to feel what they're feeling and grieve, as opposed to trying to like stuff it down and just like throw away those feelings and mask it. Another thing that we say a lot is like, don't be sad, don't think about it, don't cry. And something that our instructor was sharing with us is that a lot of the times when people say like, don't cry, is actually because they feel very uncomfortable. So when someone comes to you and they're on the verge of tears, a lot of the times that brings up a lot of emotions within ourselves. And it's more of like a selfish thing where we're like, no, like, don't cry. And then when they don't, we feel relieved, like so much better, because we don't have to deal with those emotions. Which another thing is that a lot of us, and this is normal, we're not in touch with our own emotions. If we ourselves have been like masking and stuffing down our own emotions, when they come up and they bubble up in someone else, that makes sense for us to be like, whoa, and like not know how to deal with it, not know how to comfort the person, not know what to say, want to stuff it down, want to mask it, because we also don't want to feel. Another thing that some of us might do is comparing that person's pain. So someone might have lost their job, and then some of us can say things like, you know, there are worse things that could be happening. Right now there's a pandemic and people are dying and you're complaining about losing your job, or whatever it is. Or sometimes it's not that obvious. I remember I had a manager who, like, whenever I would be really sick and I couldn't go to work, I remember this person would say things like, well, I would be able to work for like 2 weeks when I had the flu, or something like that. So basically what I'm saying is that either way, it's invalidating that person's feelings. It's saying like, basically, you don't have the right to be feeling that way because there are people who feel worse. You shouldn't be feeling that way because you can replace it with something better. Like basically not to feel those emotions. And I totally get it. And this is not to make anyone feel bad, because I personally have probably done this unintentionally many times. And I actually think that a lot of us have the best intentions in mind. I think that sometimes we just don't know what to say, or we feel like we don't have all the right answers. But no one has all the right answers. Even life coaches do not have all of the answers. That's one of the things that we often talk about, life coaches in general, that we don't have all the right answers, but we can always be a comfort to someone else, and we can always like hold their hand as they discover what the answers are. And I think that's something, is a lot of us feel like, well, I don't know what to say. I don't have the best advice. The thing is most of the times when someone opens up to us, they actually don't want our advice. They just want to be heard. And I think that that's really important too, when someone opens up to say like, did you just want to talk about this? Like, do you want to talk this through? Let me know if you want me to offer any type of advice, or kind of like, do you want to vent, or do you want advice? That type of thing. A lot of the times people just want to vent, and they just want to know that someone is there listening, and they want to be understood. They want to feel understood, and then they feel less alone. And they feel that what they are feeling is valid. One of the worst feelings is feeling that our emotions are not valid, that we are not allowed to feel that way, because that brings on a whole other emotion. It makes us feel guilty for feeling those emotions. And that's even worse, because then now you're stuffing down these emotions, you're not dealing with them, and you're feeling bad for having them in the first place. And I don't remember what the quote is, but there's some type of quote about like, you don't get to decide if you hurt someone. Something like that. And we don't get to decide whether someone's feelings are valid or not. It doesn't matter if we see the situation and say that we wouldn't be feeling that way if we were them. It really doesn't matter, because they are feeling a certain way. And we all just, at the end of the day, want to be understood, and we want to be heard. It says in the Bible, Romans 12:15, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Of course, like naturally, when someone has good news and they want to celebrate, we will automatically celebrate with them. But when someone is mourning, I feel like a lot of the times we're just gonna tiptoe backwards and they just need space. We're not gonna deal with that until they come back out on the other side. But really, such a healing part of it is someone like mourning with us. And another thing is that sometimes when people will bring something up, they don't always even know how to talk about it. So I know that it's not the easiest thing to always be hyper aware of other people. It's definitely a practice to be more aware of how other people are feeling. But when they bring something up, kind of saying like, yeah, like, did you want to talk more about that? Or tell me about that. Or when they are opening up, kind of saying like, what else? Like, yeah, you can, like, feel free to share that with me. And I think just being really honest and saying like, you know what, I don't have all of the right answers. I might not be able to fix the situation for you, but what I can offer you is my support and my presence. Like, I can sit with you through this. I will offer any type of support that I can by just sitting with you. A lot of the times that's all the person wants, is just to feel like if they're reaching out to you in the first place, I believe that just your presence and you listening intently and being a good listener is actually all that they ask for. And just by that person sharing, it is a huge weight that is lifted off of their shoulders. They are sharing a burden with you. Which reminds me that it says in Galatians 6 verse 2, carry one another's burdens. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. So again, just to recap, we do not have to have all the right answers. We don't need to try to fix the person's problem. We don't have to try to mask the person's problem. We don't have to compare it to someone else's problem, but we can do something so simple, just asking them to tell us more about that. And your feelings are valid. I'm here for you. It's okay to be feeling that way. I completely understand. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here. And checking up on them and asking them, hey, did you want to talk more about it? A lot of the times, as most of us know, when we go through something, we need to just talk about it over and over and over and over again. I know that I do that when I've experienced loss or breakups or anything that was disappointing to me. I just had to keep talking about it sometimes. And the last quote that I wanted to read is by Anne Carly on Instagram, and it says, I can really feel that you get me when you don't try to put a limit on the length of my sadness. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to share. I just wanted to bring some insight for ways that we can help other people better, even ways that we can help ourselves, because when we understand that that's kind of the way that our society is, we will take it less personally. And we will also know maybe why we felt worse when we went to go and speak to that person, or why now we're second guessing our feelings even more. Another thing is to also know that no one is a mind reader, and that's something that I personally struggle with, is I'll like drop a hint that something is wrong to someone and then I'll feel like they just brush over it, but kind of being more like, hey, can I talk to you about something, or however you want to word it. That's something I personally need to work on too, because none of us are also mind readers, and we're just flawed human beings. We're just trying to do our best. Everyone, like, people are going to disappoint us, but we were made for community, I believe. So as much as we can be there for each other and help to carry each other's burdens, always, but especially during this difficult time. So thanks guys so much for watching. If there's someone that you think would like this video, definitely share it with them, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.